Broadcasting around the world on the World Wide Web.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is. The most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
Oh yeah. Broadcasting live from the Josie Network studios in downtown Medina, Tennessee. It's that time of week again. It's time for the Josie Show. Bringing you the most exciting music news and guests from around the world. Right here on the Josie Show. Please make welcome the beautiful, the talented, the lovely, America's radio sweetheart, Mrs. Josie Passantino-Boone.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Josie Show. I'm Josie Passantino-Boone, and my special guest today is Johnny Owens, who is the son of Buck Owens, and we're so excited to talk about his rendition of Act Naturally, and so much more. So stay tuned to the whole show. You will not want to miss a second. So let's just go right into it. Here is Johnny Owens. Hi.
Josie, how are you today?
I am doing wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me. How are you?
You know, doing good. Just I still have my voice after all these interviews that we're doing. I've never done as many interviews trying to release this song, so hopefully I don't lose my voice.
No, yes, we do not want that for you. No, we need that voice. We do. But yes, I'm so glad that people are having the chance to talk to you about this because you recorded one of your father's, of course, we're talking about Buck Owens, one of your father's most recognizable songs, Act Naturally, and it's available now. So what made you want to record Act Naturally? And you did a beautiful job, by the way.
Well, we are in process of putting an album together and stuff like that. That's going to come out in March. But you know, my dad's been gone 20 years, so it's the anniversary of him been gone 20 years. Yeah. It's also the anniversary of the Live at Carnegie Hall album that came out in '66, which is probably his biggest album that he's ever done.
Yeah.
And so with this being his number one hit. You know, he had 16 hits before that. None of them went number one. And so this was the number one hit. Yeah. And so we picked this one to be number one. We're doing it's being out today on all the platforms. And then of course in October we're doing Together Again. And at the end of November we're doing Santa Looked a Lot Like Daddy for Christmas. And so
love it.
And then we do that. Of course, we're doing that album. We're hoping to have it all finished by March. Yeah. So everything's going good. And the good thing is it's being released today over 300 platforms.
Wow.
And so it's a national release, and we're gonna enjoy it and just eat it all up and everything else. But without you guys and of course the fans, but without you guys telling everybody about it, you know, it doesn't go anywhere and doesn't do anything. But it certainly helps us, and we get more fans and we get more people coming to the shows and those kind of things. So we appreciate you guys.
Yes. Oh, well, thank you so much. We appreciate you putting out this wonderful, wonderful song. It's such a great tribute to your father. And I'm really looking forward to the upcoming collection of some of your favorite Buck Owens songs. I know everyone is going to just love it. And for younger listeners who may be discovering Buck Owens and Act Naturally for like the very first time through your recording, what do you hope they take away from it? And also, in the meantime, learn about your father.
I think, you know, what's really funny about it is, I don't know if you've watched what happened on TikTok. TikTok, somebody put Made in Japan, just the beginning, a short version of it, and they did it singing to Made in Japan. Next thing you know is you're hitting millions of streams, and everybody is globbing on to doing their version of Made in Japan. And we tried to see what the age group was, and it was really young, and we're going, what? And so it was really funny, and it came out, and the next thing you know is just a few days later, and I was told, I said, did you see that? It has like 175,000 views. And I'm going, and they said, yeah. And then it's streaming like nuts. And then 4 or 5 days later, they said, hey, it's 350,000. And I'm going, what? And then it goes, 500,000, and it's going 750,000, and it's going 1,500,000. Yeah. And it just is sort of dominoed. And we're going, well, who's doing this? And they said, kids. And we're going, really?
Believe it or not, yeah. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
and so it was sort of funny and stuff, and so we did a short half song and put it on there and stuff, and all the kids were liking it and thought it was cute and stuff. But
That's awesome.
it's still going and stuff. But I think that the one of the answers would be do your thing. You got to just do what's best and stuff. I'm not doing this for the fame. I'm not doing this for fortune.
Sure.
I'm doing this out of love for the music, for one, and of course to make my dad proud and to keep his legacy, going and stuff. And a lot of us are doing these kind of shows, like Marty Haggard, which is a very good friend of mine. I talk to him weekly. He's Merle's oldest son, and he's been doing this since he got out of high school. And I won't show my age, but it's been 40 years. But anyway, so, but the thing about it is I think that the younger kids are listening to this traditional country music, and it's that evolution, is it will take a while, but it's still turning, and it's sort of coming back. And the tributes, that people are trying to do as well. Mine is a little bit of a tribute, but the thing about it is mine is pretty true because my dad was Buck Owens, and Buck and Merle lived in the same town with me, and I was good friends with Marty Haggard and of course Noel and stuff. But the thing about it is I think they just want to be able to find their place and stuff. And I think that this traditional country music allows them to do that. And I think listening to my dad and Merle and, Johnny Cash and George Jones and Conway Twitty and all these people, Charlie Pride, all these guys, and it's picking up steam.
It is.
But it will take some time and everything else. But I think it started with somebody like an Eric Church. On his writings and stuff like that, and he sort of backed down a little bit from that pop country type of feel, back to traditional look and traditional stuff. And I think they'll find it. I think they do it. I think they like it. I think the songs are just different to them. It's not the everyday stuff that they are used to listening to.
Right, exactly. I think it really is making a bit of a comeback. I believe kids are also, like you said, really picking up on it as well. And I love that you're doing your part by really, showcasing and keeping the legacy of your father alive. But then also you're preserving that traditional Bakersfield sound as well, which I love so much, that is also doing very well, to be honest with you. But I love that you're keeping all of this alive, and it helps little by little. You know what I mean? And I just think that's wonderful. And it's a perfect time for this as well. Like you said, it marks 20 years since, of course, your father's passing, but also the 60th anniversary of the Buck Owens Show live at Carnegie Hall. So, I mean, all of this really is just such a perfect time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's you can put it this way. You were 14 when you started doing this, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
14 years old. I just started this 12 years ago.
Right.
And my dad never heard me sing.
Sure.
And that's I think that's why I'm striving to do the right thing and to keep it true, and to tell stories of my dad and Merle and even Dwight and stuff, and because I wasn't in the music field. I was out in the fields working the ranches and stuff, and I did that pretty much all my life.
Yeah.
And I wasn't involved in it. I didn't even realize my dad was really a big artist until Hee Haw came out.
Oh, is that funny? Really?
Well, because I was young.
Sure,
I
of
was
course.
I was
Yeah.
I was just a young kid, and I wasn't into his music. Although I was into Merle's music,
Right.
but I wasn't. I mean, he would sing a song, and I go, okay, But Merle come up with a song, and I go, that's a great song,
That is too funny.
And
Yeah.
and Marty would look at me going, what are you talking about? You're
Yeah.
that went number one, and I said, yeah, but your dad's went number one, and he go, yeah, but why are you listening to my dad's stuff? Because I had so many of the cassettes and stuff of 8 tracks and all this kind of stuff. And I'm showing my age now, I guess. But the thing about it is I listened to Johnny Cash and Waylon Jennings and Johnny Paycheck and Merle Haggard and Marty Robbins, because I love those ballads. And Merle and Marty Robbins, they were so great at ballads. And so, those are the songs that we sort of grew up with and listened to and stuff. And I think back to the thing about the kids and stuff, I think the kids are picking up on it, and I think that they're liking it. It tells us a story. It doesn't mean that it has to, be one of your stories, but they can still, they can sort of understand what the song is about. It's a slower version than something that's rock and roll pop type of stuff. And the music is true. It really is. The steel guitar comes out and the fiddle comes out, and I have a great band with me and stuff, and these guys are doing great, and I'm pretty fortunate to do this because I love it and not because I have to survive.
Right, exactly. You do it. You do it for the love of it, and that's what I love about you. And how did you approach putting your own stamp on a song that is so closely, of course, associated with your dad, but also people love it? I mean, generations after generations. How are you able to kind of make it your own, I should say?
Well, I think if you are, the reason I'm doing this is because I love this music. I love the traditional music. I love this. I love the sound. I love the fact that there was 2 different sounds going on when my dad and Merle and those guys were all coming up. And one of them was Nashville sound. One of them was California sound. California was called Nashville West. Nashville was Nashville. But the thing about it is see, the Nashville music was pretty smooth, pretty easy to listen to. It wasn't in your face type of thing and stuff. It was pretty laid back, and the fiddles sounded more like a violin. The Roy Rogers type of stuff and the Gene Autry type of stuff and that kind of thing. Where coming out of Bakersfield was Fender Telecasters and the steel guitar, turn it up, and the bass, actually put a bass guitar where you can hear it, and turn the drums up a little bit. Let's mic those drums,
Let's do it. Yeah.
Nobody back east and stuff like that. And my dad loved music. Don't get me wrong. He loved the music coming out of there. He just wanted to put his own touch on it and stuff. But they started micing drums. Right. Nobody back east would have mic'd the drums and wanted to hear the drums, and so you sort of go with this. I'm keeping this thing true, pretty true to the song. If you take the 2, they're pretty darn close,
right?
And even when you get to Together Again and all these other songs that we're gonna finish up on and do and stuff, I try to keep them pretty true. I put the keyboards, the piano sound very, in the background. You can hear it a little bit, but the steel guitar is up there and the fiddle is up there and stuff, and that's what my dad liked, and that's what Merle liked, and that's I'm going to keep it true, and I'm going to keep it pretty close to the same stuff.
You did.
When we do the Dwight stuff, Guitars and Cadillacs and Honky Tonk Man and Fast as You and those kind of songs and stuff on the shows, people love them. Don't get me wrong, but that sort of saved my dad in 1988 is Streets of Bakersfield, and that was crazy because Streets of Bakersfield went number 1 in 1968. In 1988, 87 is when Dwight asked my dad if he would do that song with him. Dwight hadn't had a number 1 hit, just like my dad hadn't had a number 1 hit with Act Naturally until Act Naturally came out. But Dwight hadn't had a hit, and he says he wants to do this song with him. And the next thing you know is that's Dwight's number 1 hit.
Yeah. Wow.
and
Yeah.
and then of course history makes itself.
Yeah.
But I get to do all these songs,
Hmm.
and as long as I put that smile on that person's face that's sitting there, as long as those people are clapping, as long as I can bring back a memory,
Hmm.
I've done my job and I win. And
Yes.
and
Yeah.
that is the purpose of these shows. Nothing else. It's I'm not going to become famous. I'm not going to be a Garth Brooks, a George Strait, any of these big headliners and everything else. But I'll guarantee you one thing: my heart will be full if I get to do that memory and bring back that memory and put a
Yeah.
smile on somebody's face.
Yes, you're enjoying it, and everybody else is as well. I hope everyone goes out and checks out a show of yours, because it just sounds like it's just so much fun. It really is. And I'm just really looking forward to, of course, the album, because I know you're gonna have so many of our favorites on there. So I just am so looking forward to that. But in the meantime, everyone can check out Act Naturally on all of the platforms that you could stream music today. So please make sure you all do that. And before we go, if you don't mind, I know you have so many stories, I'm sure, of your dad, but I would love for you to kind of maybe share a special story that you have with your father, so we get a little bit more of the person, the man, the father, not necessarily the musician. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think because of them being gone all the time,
Yeah.
it was hard as a young boy,
Yeah.
as you could imagine, that
Yeah.
your dad was never home.
Right.
If he wasn't gone at least 300 to 320 days a year, then he probably was very sick, which he
Sure.
wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he wasn't sick. He was just on the road that much and everything else.
Yeah.
Back in the 60s, that was how long he was gone. I mean, it was just if he was home, um, it was very, very few and far between.
Right.
And especially on birthdays or holidays and things like that, except for Christmas. He always made sure that he was home for Christmas.
Aw, that's amazing.
Yeah, and the big thing is he knew he was never going to be home on New Year's Eve because he was always booked. But
Right.
the thing about it is he was always home on Christmas, and we knew that. We could count on that.
Hmm.
And but you couldn't count on him being home any other time. He was working, and he was working very hard and stuff.
Yeah.
And all those guys were back then and stuff. But
Oh,
the
yeah.
more that the more shows that happened and stuff. But when he was home, I mean, it was put your arms around and give me a hug and that kind of stuff. I haven't seen you. I haven't. He goes, gee whiz, you've grown and all that kind of stuff. And
Sweet.
and it would take him a couple of days of sleeping.
Yeah.
But then he'd be up and around and stuff, and we could visit and stuff, and hopefully there'd be an old Western on, and we'd watch a movie together and stuff like that, because we both loved Western movies and that kind of stuff. But throw the football around a little bit every once in a while, throw the ball around and baseball around and stuff like that. But we had this one yard that was pretty long and stuff. It was pretty narrow, but it was still long and stuff. And we could throw the ball back and forth and stuff and have a little bit of fun. But
I love that.
he did the you look back at it now. You didn't like it back then because he was always gone, and all my friends' dads were around, but
Sure.
and I had a lot of dads, and but the thing about it is they understood, that business. I didn't realize it. Probably until I got into this business.
Sure. Now you can see a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, how hard and because you pack up and you go to the airport and you fly somewhere and you get out and you get in a hotel room and then you do a sound check, you do a show, you stay and talk to people, you get back to the hotel room just to wake up early to catch another flight or drive somewhere. And you do that numerous times, and I'm sitting there with you do 50 or 60 shows, and they were doing 250 shows.
I can't even imagine. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was trying to figure out who was doing their laundry.
Right. That's what I'm wondering. How did you get anything done?
how do you do your laundry? And it was like, well, somebody had to be doing it because they didn't have that many pairs of pants or shirts,
Right.
But
So funny.
I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and after I did all these interviews, and it was crazy that you start thinking about different things, because especially when you start getting into this music stuff, because this stuff isn't the fun part is only to me is only after the show when I get to talk to people.
Yes.
And now I don't get me wrong. I love the clapping and I love the smiles and that kind of stuff and that and what's happening. They're really embracing me, and so I'm so humbled and about it and everything else. But the biggest part is after the show, and you get to hear the stories about where they were, what they were doing, and all this stuff. I mean, sometimes go, that was our first date. We went and saw Buck Owens, and so you get to hear the stories, and it just fills you up,
That's so special.
And, yeah. And so I think that going back to the answer is that I don't appreciate the fact of I didn't like the fact that he was gone back then. And although I loved him and I wanted him around, but I didn't realize what he had to do, and that drive that he had to be the best, and because he was the best, and people like those top 10 guys. The reason why they were the best is because they were never home.
Yeah. They slept, ate, drank, everything music.
Yeah.
They just did it all the time. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why he was and who he is now. I mean, that's why everybody definitely remembers your name. But as a child, I definitely could, understand. I could definitely understand how you probably would feel. But now it's kind of interesting. You're able to be in a position now where you're kind of seeing, some of what he has had to go through, with the shows and all of that. So it's kind of interesting that you're getting a little bit of the glimpse of perspective. You know what I mean?
Sure, it is.
Yeah. It's different.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It is different. And people don't, a few of my friends that we moved up from Bakersfield up by Yosemite National Park. Yeah. And it is mountains and trees and everything else. And it's just beautiful. We're pretty blessed. And because the palace is closed and there's just, there's not a lot left for me to stay there and stuff. And so we drive an hour to Fresno and then we can fly out of Fresno and that kind of stuff. But I'll tell you that the biggest thing about this stuff is my friends go, well, when you coming back down? When you coming over? When you doing, and they go, well, where are you? And you go, well, I'm in Utah. I'm in Arizona. And they go, what? We're in Alaska. What? and they're going, I thought you were going to come over for lunch or something. And I'm going, well, not today. And so you start, it brings back those things and you start thinking about it and all those things that you were thinking when you were younger. I remember being in high school and my dad never got to watch me play football.
Yeah. He was working.
My dad he never got to watch me wrestle. Okay.
Wow. Yeah.
And as good as I thought I was, it still didn't matter because he wasn't going to be there.
Right, right.
And all of a sudden, my senior year, I knew that he wasn't going to be home. All right, and we had homecoming, and our kicker got hurt, and on our football team. And the coach said, well, who can kick off, And I said, well, I can kick off. I kick that thing way down there and stuff. Yeah. And so I kicked off. I went through everybody trying to block me. I tackled the guy. And I get up and I turn around. And as I turned around, my dad is on his feet, standing, waving, going, great job, great job. And I'm going, what the heck,
what happened here? Yeah.
Oh yeah. First time in 4 years and stuff. And of course it was the last time, but it was, but see, when you think of that and then you think that you're traveling and my kids, they sat there and said, well, where are you going? And I said, well, we're going here, here and here. And we'll be back in about 8 days, 9 days. And they said, oh, okay. And And then you get back and a few days go by, and then they said, you want to have dinner? And I said, well, we're leaving in the morning, and where are you going? And it sort of brings back those things, and you start thinking about all the traveling that he did. And those feelings you had sort of changes a little bit, and you go, right. I sort of get it now,
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Isn't that just interesting how it all comes full circle? It really does. And I really, truly appreciate you sharing all of these stories with me. And it was just such a pleasure getting the chance to talk to you. And before we go, can you please give out your, if you have a website, can you give that out? Can you also give out where people can find you on social media?
Yeah. We're all over Facebook and Instagram and all those things. TikTok. I think we now have one. I'm not sure if it's done or not on TikTok, but I know that Facebook, and all you got to do is pull up Johnny Owens and the Bakersfield Sound, or you pull up JohnnyOwensMusic.com. You can go and look at our websites and stuff, and look at listen to some songs. There's a few songs, there's some videos, some pictures. I have a bio in there. Of course, there's booking information. There's all kinds of different stuff on it and stuff. But, we're just now getting everything fixed up and done and redone and that kind of stuff. But for you guys and stuff, again, I want to say thank you for your time. And thank you for letting me come on and be a part of your day.
Oh, the honor was all mine, and I'd love to have you back on anytime, okay? This truly was a real treat for me. It was so great getting the chance to talk to you, and I hope to meet you one day here shortly. Soon.
Well, hopefully we're coming back in your area, and we'll be there, and we'll get a hold of you, Josie. I appreciate you.
Oh, I appreciate you. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great rest of your day, okay?
You too.
Thank you all so much for tuning into the Josie Show today, and a big special thank you to my special guest, Johnny Owens. And my next show is August 27th with Elle Townley and Stephanie Rabus. So make sure you stay tuned to that show, and stay tuned to josieshow.com on our upcoming guest tab to see who all is going to be joining me coming up. So thank you all, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.